What's up, everyone? Just wanted to kind of give a light comment on this. Where do I begin? Crypto gaming is it's not gonna stop, is it? There is a sea of games to choose from. It's seriously overwhelming. Now, don't you wish you can escape this sea like Seascape? Hey everyone, JoJo here with Moon Boots, and I am here to tell you, well, I'm sure you guessed it, but I want to talk about Seascape. Seascape is a decentralized ecosystem that revolves around the gamification of DeFi and NFTs. And not only that, but Seascape actually has two other killer apps. One of them being a launchpad that is really geared towards new crypto games, and Moonscape, which is a strategy game that is actually built on the Moonbeam blockchain. There is definitely a lot to take in, so I just want to jump into the interview because this is going to be a good one. And please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe because that really helps the channel. And that's it, that'd be cool. Thanks. Enjoy. And I'm glad that everyone is just here. So I just wanted to start off. How are you guys, David and Kerel?
Doing great. Really happy to be here and talk about my favorite subjects, which is gaming and blockchain.
How are you, Kerel?
I'm okay. I'm busy. I don't know if you saw what happened in the last few days. There's a lot of things going on with Seascape, but that's very exciting.
I know. There has been a lot of things. The more that I kept diving deeper into your guys' projects, not project, the more I was just like, holy crap. I can't imagine how growing your team is, what you guys are putting together constantly day after day. There's a lot to go into it. But just for the viewers to know, I have the CMO Kerel at Seascape Network, and I also have David, founder and CEO of Seascape Network. So I'm happy that both of you guys are here. And I actually wanted to dive into the first question. So let's start with Seascape. We know that you created two products, which is insane, by the way. One of them being a Moonscape and Lighthouse, which is a launchpad, and Moonscape being a game. Could you go more into detail about other aspects of Seascape's philosophy?
Sure thing. So basically, I'm David, and I'm the founder and CEO, as you mentioned, of Seascape. I've been a game developer for the last 10 years. Really cut my teeth into Facebook games and mobile games, and specialized specifically in strategy games. So I had a lot of fun making World War II games or ancient Roman games or a few fashion games as well. So I don't just do strategy games. But about 4 years ago, I got into crypto in general and Bitcoin and blockchain and NFTs as when they were invented by the CryptoKitties team. And as soon as that happened, I just knew that I had to go all into blockchain gaming specifically, because I've been working on games for so many years, and I saw that there was just this need, this desire in the gaming community to actually own and trade and monetize their time spent playing their favorite games, right? So 4 years ago, me and my co-founder Nikki and our CTO Medet, we started developing a game, and our first game was called Block Lords. And so the idea was that it was a medieval strategy game where users could kind of fight for land, craft items, trade their items in cities, and if you were a city lord, you would actually earn taxes from players who were trading in their cities. So that's kind of what started our blockchain adventure in 2018. And this was, I'm sure you've been around the space for a while. It was the depth of the bear market. And after the 2017 crash, nobody believed in crypto, right? So it was hard. In the beginning, it was very difficult. And actually, our biggest challenges were technical. We would start working on some cool game designs. We thought the blockchain can handle it easily. But what we realized is that most blockchain platforms out there are painfully underdeveloped. There weren't enough developer tools. Nodes would constantly be unsynchronized. Test nets would constantly be upgraded, meaning that we had to redo our smart contracts. So basically, we spent almost 3 years struggling to even make a basic game. So after a few years of this, we got a bit tired, and we decided, like game development on blockchain should not be so hard. It should be a lot easier. Game devs should be able to make games with crypto, with tokens, with NFTs, without having to go through everything we did. So at that point, we founded the Seascape network, and the Seascape network was meant to be, a vast ocean, a metaverse, if you will. Metaverse wasn't really a thing a year ago, but a metaverse where game developers and gamers could find each other, and we could find really a way to financially incentivize not only the game developers, which is a crucial part of growing, blockchain in general, is to get more game developers to actually make great games, but also to incentivize the gamers so that you can have a win-win relationship between the people who create the games and the people who play the games. So that's kind of the underlying philosophy of Seascape Network. We started throwing this idea around. People liked it a lot. Binance came in as an investor late 2020. We launched our Seascape Crowns tokens, and this year has been just an amazing experience for all of us on the team. We've grown from 5 people to 40 people, and we basically we following the strategy of building the ultimate game platform for DeFi and NFT gaming. The way we're doing that is we've launched a series of mini games, which have kind of been a proof of concept that users can actually earn cryptocurrency while they're playing games. So this is kind of something that's been driving us, and we released a game called Profit Circus, which is all about liquidity mining. We released a game called NFT Brawl, which is all about in-game NFT minting. We released NFT Staking, a very popular game of ours called Staking Saloon. And this was kind of our way of testing our toolkits, testing our SDKs to making sure that crypto gaming, or play to earn, which is now the term which I love that everybody uses, that play to earn is actually feasible, and that we now have the tools, and they're battle tested, they're user tested, and other game developers can use them. So that was kind of phase 1, which was the first half of the Seascape adventure. And now with the Lighthouse, we've begun phase 2. And what's phase 2? Basically, phase 2 is mass adoption. And not only mass adoption with gamers, which we're starting to see, Axie Infinity, the Sandbox, they've done a great job of really acquiring users from different parts of the world. But we're more interested in mass adoption with game developers.
What is the initial idea behind Seascape? Because that you're doing a lot and you're juggling a lot with different projects, different games, which I didn't even know of. I only know 2 products, but it seems like you have a little bit of other streams. Like, who would you say is your target audience? Who would be the main target audience that you're trying to get?
The core target audience is really the game developer. We want to create an environment where any game developer, whether they're a mobile game developer or a PC, AAA game developer, where they can kind of plug into our network, use our SDKs, use our smart contracts, and they can easily take their game that they've been working on maybe for several years, and they can add NFTs to it. They can add a new token. They can let their users create new tokens, maybe collateralized by their own tokens. They can add staking to stabilize their own token pricing. They can combine many NFTs to create rewards. They can pay out leaderboard rewards. I mean, it's endless, but basically we want to provide game developers with the infrastructure and also, of course, an NFT marketplace so that they can do advanced launches of their NFTs. And most importantly, especially for independent developer with the Lighthouse, what we want to do is create a fundraising platform where the game developer can easily fund their games, and not from greedy VCs or institution, which of course there are some very great institutions out there. But most importantly, we want our fans, our community, our gamers to get a chance to be able to be a part of the process of game development. So the core audience is first and foremost game developers, but of course, as a game platform, we need the users. And that's why we're trying to create this relationship where both the game developers and the gamers kind of live side by side and both from their time.
Awesome. Well, I'm actually really excited for obviously the other streams that you have going on, but let's dive in more into Moonscape. What is it about? What inspired you guys to create this? And I mean, obviously, David, you've been in the field for a long time when it comes to gaming, and you guys are advocate gamers. Just wanted to get the start of it.
Yeah, so Moonscape came about earlier this year, and actually it came from an interesting source, which was Moonbeam. The Moonbeam Foundation, as I'm sure you know, is an EVM on the Polkadot ecosystem. So they're a parachain, or they're planning to be a parachain on Polkadot. They already released a parachain on Kusama, on which actually we were the first project to ever launch. we launched our own DEX and our own mini games and our own Scape store on Moon River. So we're very close partner to the Moonbeam Foundation. And when we started getting close earlier this year, they said, hey, we would really like a game that's like an exclusive on Moonbeam. Like, can you guys make a game? And I was like, yeah, we can make a game. That's what we do. We make games. So
So they came to
just
you.
they came to us asking for a game. Exactly.
Whoa.
And they said, do whatever you want. Yeah, exactly.
That's so cool. So they were just like, yeah, we don't have a game, but can you guys just make one? And you're like, well,
Exactly. Well, there were a lot of discussions. I do think I pitched the exclusive game aspect, but they wanted content. They wanted things for their chains. They knew we were building game ecosystem. So I said, okay, Moon, So this is kind of usually how the process works. Is I start thinking, okay, what's going on here? So Moonbeam, okay, Moon, we're the Seascape, Moonscape, Seascape, just. It all starts with something like that, right? But obviously, we're more focused on the infrastructure part. So as I said earlier, we spend too much time doing the games, although we do help a lot play-to-earn design aspects since we have so much experience in it. But the first step was really finding a good game studio and developing the ideas and the mechanics of the game with them. So we ended up settling on this studio called BitPunch, and they're based in Armenia, actually. And they're experienced casual mobile game developers. So we started talking with them. It's like, hey, we have a game. It's going to be on the moon, and we're going to be building cities. Because the Moonbeam logo was like a city on the moon. So that's kind of how it starts off. And they got their ideas involved. Our team got ideas involved. And then 6 months later, and it's a purple moon, and the world is fighting for resources against aliens, and everyone is building these NFT cities and fighting for land. And so yeah, that's basically how a project gets born. It starts with a very simple idea, and then we spend almost up to a year of hard work making it happen. And now it's almost ready to release.
That's crazy that you guys executed it. And not only that, I feel like the crypto community is such a beautiful thing because you guys both worked on it together to create that concept with you, Moonbeam team, and then Seascape's team. So that's a beautiful thing. And it's also, that's like the definition of crypto, right? You have a lot of these communities come together and to create something incredible. Now, David, this is a personal question. Do you really like the game? And like, do you like playing it? Is that something that you see yourself being like, yep, this is my game. I want to keep playing it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, definitely. And of course, I'm a bit biased because I had a lot of influence on the development of the game. But I'd say by far it's the best game we've ever worked on. I'd say it's the most advanced game that's going to release in the blockchain space, in the play-to-earn space. We have a background of delivering our projects, and Moonscape, while being the most ambitious one, was also designed in a way to be entirely realistic, entirely based on our previous mini games, and on a very tight schedule so that we could ensure it will launch in January, along with the development studio BitPunch, of course. So to answer your question, yes, I love it. The resources, the art, the driving around on the moon, because you have a rover, right? And you're driving around and you're extracting those resources. Even just that gameplay is fun. And then now we're in the full testing with the attacking cities mechanic, which is very fun and repetitive as well. Like, it's a good loop, so you want to do it over and over and over again. And then most excited, honestly, is the DeFi mechanics, where every season users will actually together be staking their tokens, their MSCP tokens. And the more they stake, the more resources exist on the moon. So it's kind of this win-win scenario where if every user comes together and stakes more resources, more tokens together, they will actually all benefit more because they'll have more resources to use in the game to upgrade their cities,
cool.
basically.
By playing this game, we all win.
Exactly.
In this together,
that's the idea.
David and Kerel's opinion on this, or at least a little bit more details on, like, what is the gameplay like?
Sure. So I'll go on that, Kerel, because I'm the one who plays them more, but I'll let you speak next one. That basically, each user starts with a rover. Your rover is, imagine the Mars rover, but you're on the moon. Each rover has a gun, and each rover has a mining rig, so you can mine resources with it. So you'll explore the purple moon that we as humans have destroyed for our own greedy gains, of course. But you will extract resources, and you will fight off aliens who are protecting these resources. And once you have enough resources, you'll be able to build a city. When you build a city, you will basically be able to build your own buildings. And these buildings are modeled after futuristic skyscrapers, which was another inspiration we got from the Moonbeam graphic. As you unlock these buildings, each building will have a unique staking DeFi function. Now, this is entirely optional because Moonscape is really a free to play game. Anyone can join. You don't need a crypto wallet. You don't need a cryptocurrency to get started. Anyone can do the rover, the mining, the city building. But if you want, each building you unlock has a DeFi function. And the more you upgrade your buildings, the better the staking pools will be behind those DeFi buildings. So let's say you start upgrading your building, but now things are happening, right? You're getting more resource production. You're getting better at mining. You're getting better rovers. You can also get rovers on the NFT stores and start importing better rovers. If you want, you can build a really good rover in the game, take it out of the market, take it out of the game, and then sell it on the market. So as you're growing your city, you're really growing your strength. You're growing your weaponry on your rover. You're also increasing your earning potential from the actual mining. A very important building as well is the moon dust refinery, where you take your Moonscape tokens and you refine them into moon dust, which is the ultimate currency, if you will, of the Moonscape ecosystem. And yeah, that's the general loop. Is you build these cities, you go extract more resources, and of course, each season the resources start running out. And at that point, the only way to get resources is to attack your fellow neighbors. So at the end of each season, it will be a free-for-all for who can get the final resources and win the season leaderboard, which are the best rewards, of course.
Interesting. Okay. Now, if I wanted to instantly play this game, do I need to buy in or could I instantly just start? And is there levels to play in this?
So obviously, Moonscape token, which is launching very soon. We just completed the Lighthouse raise. The Moonscape tokens means you will have access to the early access versions of the game. So if you really want to start playing now, I strongly suggest you get your hand on some Moonscape tokens when it launches next week, and also some NFTs. They will be launched in December as well. That said, once the game has been fully tested with users and releases on the open market, which should be January, February is our estimation, at that point, any user will be able to play the game entirely for free without tokens, as mentioned, and they will be able to get their rover, start leveling up, start building cities. Now, if they're so inclined, they could connect the wallet or use our native wallet, which will come later on, to start, extracting their cities as an NFT and start selling entire cities if that's their thing, or selling rovers. So, to answer your question, nothing will be needed to get started, but having Moonscape tokens or interacting with the DeFi and NFT elements of the game will basically make it all worthwhile and much more exciting.
And in crypto, it's all about being first, right? So I'm sure when you first start playing it, you would get a better grip on things. You would understand it better instead of people who've been playing 6 months and then you get into it and then you're like, okay, there's a lot going on. And especially if you're kind of new to the crypto space. So yes, I think it would be ideal that people start playing as soon as possible. Or, either way, it's a fun game. It looks super cool. And I, for one, I'm very excited. And you did say potentially that it's going to be launching around January or February. There's nothing, a set date.
Not currently. In game development, and especially in crypto game development, we have to be a bit loose with our dates because there's so many things that need to be triple tested with live users, tested internally, and most importantly, because there is real value being transacted, whether it's in NFTs or in tokens, we have to make sure it's entirely safe for our users. That's why we actually use 3 auditor firms that we're working with. So each smart contract that we launch has 3 independent audits being made. That said, we do have a general timeline, which is the token will launch very soon, probably in the next week or 2, followed by an NFT limited edition launch in December, an open beta, or actually not open, but a closed beta early access for Moonscape holders in January, and the full game release in February. That's our current plan, and we really hope we will stick to it.
And then, so if I wanted to get into this closed beta, I would need to either purchase tokens or an NFT or both or anything specific, or it's not concrete yet.
It's not concrete yet, but I can say it will require staking of Moonscape tokens and also holding of our limited edition NFTs.
Okay, interesting. This is good. This is good for my users and for me.
It
So I
would
like
be
to.
very worth it. It would be worthwhile. So you should definitely do it.
The first season will definitely be an epic one for for our early players. And if you look around the Seascape community, you can also say that all the players who have been with us from the beginning, they have really profited a lot from their time.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great to hear. And when this video drops, it's just going to be even more exciting because I'm sure it's going to be next week. You're going to be dropping. A lot of things are going to happen. Now, when I was kind of diving more deeper into your projects, Lighthouse obviously is a very different, it's obviously different from a game, but that's a launch pad, you know? Are you supporting, well, hang on, I have tons of questions about this. So if you want to dive deep into it, feel free for, you know, either the CMO or the co-founder, Kerel or David, because there's a lot to go in it. Because my brain was like, okay, you have a launch pad, you have a game. Are you supporting other games? Are you supporting your own games?
I'll let you talk about that, Kerel.
Yeah, sure. So as David already said, the philosophy behind Seascape is actually trying to foster and give the best support environment for traditional game developers to come on board. So he mentioned before phase 1 and phase 2. So phase 1, we don't only have Moonscape, we also have 4 other mini games that we already developed, and a 5th one coming very soon. More details about that later. Now, in phase 1, we basically built a bit more about the infrastructure. David already worked with his team on that for 3 years before Seascape. They already had a lot of tools, but we had to develop those to be available for a lot of people. So we had this. Now that we built basically a lot of the smart contracts, audits that we're ready for the infrastructure-wise, we wanted to come into what we call phase 2, which was a mass adoption for users, but mostly also to get a lot more game developers. Lighthouse is one new tool for us to be able to help those games going from ideation to raise, development, launch, marketing, and so on. And so the Lighthouse is a launchpad. Is a launchpad focused on gaming, gaming with an aspect of blockchain, tokenization, NFTs, and most importantly, David's favorite DeFi. We are trying to support other, like more traditional game developers who don't know anything about crypto, or also people who do know about crypto but who are not launched, trying to provide the best game. So some differentiators also about the Lighthouse is first, we are multi-chain. You don't see that in a lot of IDO platforms. We only bring best, like high quality project that we sift through. Basically, we had dozens of proposals, and David is very picky about who he wants to work with. If he doesn't like a project, if he doesn't think this is something that's going to either bring forward something for the community, foster the blockchain gaming environment, if he thinks it's a bit anything that doesn't work, they're out. We will only bring, some of the best quality projects or some of the things he would personally like to play. Also, we love strategy, for example. So as you know, we worked on another game. He worked mostly on another game before. We want to see more of that later. Last one also is the auction. Basically, we see a lot of things. The IDO platforms are very interesting in the way they function, but there's some limitations that we talked about mass adoption just before. And IDO is basically the opposite of mass adoption, where it only is available for very few people. Like only a few people could get allotments. We still have that function, but we also have a very interesting new things that's called the auction pool. I don't know if you have another question about that later on, but basically the way the auction pool works is everyone can participate and everyone can get something and can get really, really heated. We finished the auction pool actually for Moonscape started on Monday and it finished on Tuesday. You have 24 hours and you do not want to miss them out, because we had free NFTs for that, and that also gives you an idea on how hyped the token is. And
you're saying that that's on Monday through Tuesday, so 24 hours. So that is on.
It already happened. It already
happened. We have the numbers.
Yesterday. Yeah.
We looked at the numbers and we were also kind of wow, that was really good.
So very successful.
Very, very successful. We went 50x in the auction pool. That was Busy people actually say, and that's before TGE. So TGE is also promised to come, as David said, soon, and we'll see what happens when TGE arrives.
God damn it. I swear, these crypto companies, it just makes me anyone that's watching this, you can feel my frustration because obviously I wanted to buy in, I wanted to get in, but if you're late, you're late and you miss a huge opportunity. So don't do that. Don't make my mistakes. Get in early, especially with what you guys are creating. Now, really quick, what makes Lighthouse different from other crypto gaming launchpads? I know you touched on different options, but I wanted to get the perspective versus other really big ones like GameFi.
Sure. Well, I'd say what makes us unique is really the way we get our users to qualify for the Launchpad tokens and for the games. Most game-focused launchpads, but most launchpads in general have a pretty simple system, which is stake tokens, get a share of the pool tokens. Maybe they have a lottery involved, but that's usually it. From my research, most launchpads work that way. So we felt this was a bit limiting. It rewards whales a bit too much, and also it's just so limited for most users. And but I did think it was good to let users work for their allocation, because I think as a game platform, we don't want just anybody who has a lot of money to be able to just come in, get the biggest share of the tokens, and then they're going to wait for launch day. Exactly, and they will sell the earliest, right?
Yeah.
So what we did is we developed a tier system with tasks, and the tasks are actually quite complicated, but they all benefit our network. So for example, you need to have our NFTs on our marketplace. You need to hold some of our tokens. You need to stake some of our tokens in LP. We are also adding game-based tasks, and Moonscape will actually be the first game where we try that out, where users actually have to do tasks in game to qualify for the different tiers. And the reason we did that is to make sure that every user who actually gets an allocation is familiar with our games, with our NFTs, with our products, with what we do, and what the overall vision is. And a lot of people gave me flack for that and told me, "Hey, you're making it too complicated. It's impossible to get in." But as we saw, over 1,000 users registered, 185 of them won. All of them funded. So everyone who won and who passed the KYC funded the project Moonscape. And on top of that, the last 20% we reserved for the auction pool. I mean, if you lost the lottery, and the lottery was at the best price, right? But if you lost the lottery, everyone had one shot to burn Seascape crowns, CWS, our token, and the auction participants would receive a proportional part based to how much in total was burned. So we had no idea what to expect. But yesterday, people just went crazy, and they kind of showed that the demand for Moonscape is enormous. And this is with our biggest players. One of the players who burned, I think it was 10,000 CWS, so over $120,000. He burned it. So that's actually adding value to the Seascape ecosystem. He owns 1,000 of our NFTs. So you can imagine how dedicated he is. And he's been minting those in game. Actually, no, he's one of our Korean players. So this is all kind of to explain that, yes, the FOMO has been incredible for. I mean, we're extremely surprised by how much was burned. Right, that's an incredible sum of money, but it's also very exciting.
Was that something that you were just all like, oh crap, Because people can do that. So what if they burned everything? What if they just bought everything and just burned it? Then what? Do you? Yeah.
Then CWS would be worth a lot. So I think in essence, as a token, a utility token, we want there to be demand and use cases for our products. We've already created use cases via our games. We've created use cases via the Lighthouse itself. We've created use cases via our NFT marketplace. So for me, the more uses we have, the better, and the more interesting it is for our ecosystem participants. But I agree, too much burned is actually a challenge for us, because now we have to deliver. We have to deliver. Yeah. Whereas when we started, the stakes were very low. Now already they're very high, but I appreciate the challenge.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting on that's different. That is very different from a launch pad. Because yeah, no one can just buy in. That's cool. You have all the money in the world. No, you got to play. You got to play by my rules, my game. This is how we do it. So I think that's really fun for any gamer or any gamer developer. And that's, to be honest, I didn't really know that. So I would probably been messaging your team and being like, what's going on? So how do you let people know that are people like, let's say that are like me, where I'm like, shoot, I have to play. I can't just buy it. So what is it like on the educational side then? Is it just videos?
Well,
How are you letting people know?
that's a marketing question. I'll let Kerel
Yeah,
answer that.
that was good. So yeah, as I said, there's a lot of issues. First, it's depending on the IDO, the requirements are going to be different. So we are basically going to make videos and articles for each time. Though we'll see how fast it goes after a time. But it's a mix between having very good community managers, people. I don't know if you know, but we have 9 languages. So that means 9 different communities with chats, with Twitters, mediums, and so on. So everything is translated into this. So we have a lot of articles. We have articles for how to get into the Lighthouse in general, how to do UTLs, what is the Lighthouse. We have all of this. We are actually working on a wiki to try to put all of this information that we have, sometimes a bit disseminated, all of it together. We are working on new video guides. As you know, videos are generally what people look at the most, which is why we're here today. So we're going to make a mix. Basically, it's going to be articles. We're going to have a codex or an index, depending on how you want to work, a wiki with very simple information, articles, videos, and all of that forwarded towards very good community managers. We have a lot of ambassadors at Seascape, a lot of people that are very excited to get into the Seascape ecosystem, the Lighthouse, Moonscape, as we saw. So it's very challenging. There's a lot of moving pieces. As you said, it's not projects, it's projects. And those are not only just games that come once, these are seasons that change all the time, so people do need to be updated. But as David said, it's not that complicated, but you do have to work to get your money. You do have to play. This is a play to earn. This is not an earn thing. We don't want whales to be coming on board and just be like, hey, I've got $1 million, give me money. No, you need to do something. And that's one of the aspects that was really put forward with the Moonscape, is your yields increase with in-game aspects. You do need to do something. You do need to play. And that's something that we're trying to foster as a philosophy in general.
Are you guys new in this space by doing this, by creating this like, you got to play in order to invest?
I'd say, I don't know if we're new. A few people do this, I think, but we're definitely the most advanced, if I may say so. We're kind of experimenting the most with actually these DeFi and these requirements for gaming, in-game aspects, if you will.
I guess I shouldn't say. Sorry, I was going to say, I guess I shouldn't say maybe the first, but the one that's you guys seem like, because that's like the first that I was kind of hearing it, but in a bigger scale. So I think that's what's really impressive, that it's something that's different. And I'm really looking forward more to, the marketing side of it and how you guys kind of really branch that out to other different types of audience. So that's just going to be interesting. I think that's going to be a really interesting play to earn, play.
And lots of things. Yeah, and I'd say that's always been one of the more challenging parts with our games since the beginning. And actually, it's getting better and better. And I think this is in the crypto industry in general. Is like the barrier to entry was so high 4 years ago when I started, and you literally had to spend hours to just dive in and understand, how these things worked to even be able to use it and profit from it. But then it was so profitable that people did it, and more people started doing it. And this is kind of like the learning curve of DeFi in general, but it's going away. And we're definitely want to play our part in making things easier. And that's definitely what marketing should push for and does push for. But me as a product guy, maybe I'm more like, no, they need to learn it. They need to learn it. But absolutely, the end goal is that everyone can get into this easily, and everyone can contribute, whether it's as a developer or as a gamer, and everyone can be rewarded for honestly what's the most valuable thing in the current century, right? It's your attention. Like, your attention is the most valuable thing there is. whether it's as an influencer, you're working for people's attention, or as a game, we're working for people's attention. And that's why for me, play to earn has grown to such a huge thing,
So much.
is because people's attention is extremely valuable. And if we can find ways to reward them for giving us their attention, I think everybody will win.
I think you nailed it on the head with that. I think everyone's by saying that phrase right there, everyone's like attention is worth something now. So to kind of put in that aspect of play to earn, it's a game changer nonetheless. It's a game changer to this whole society, and different opportunities, different job opportunities. So very, very happy to see that rolling into 2022. But really quick, I wanted to touch on, do NFTs play a role within your ecosystem in Lighthouse?
Correct. So that was the part I was going to get to next, actually, is that once the funding period is completed and users who won the random allotment, they got their allocations at a very good price. Then the auction pool participants, they fought for the last scraps, and as we can see what happened yesterday, it was hard. It was a hard fight. But once all of that is completed, we can say the launch pad, the raising is completed, and we go into the pre TGE mode, right? Which is like the phase between the launch pad and the token being released for free on not for free, but the token being released on the market for anyone to be able to purchase. Mm-hmm. So when that happens, we've actually invented a new system called the Allocation Nft. So basically every user who took part in the Lighthouse will receive an NFT. They'll be able to claim it, which will have a cool picture on it and tell you the amount of tokens this NFT entitles you to on launch day. So basically, every user who took part in the Lighthouse will have this NFT, and they can choose to do what they want with it. They can sell it as a sort of pre-sale element to the actual token launch, or they can hold on to it. And maybe some players, I'm speculating, will start buying up these NFTs on the market. So we're expecting a lot of volume on our NFTs marketplace, the Seascape store, in the next few days as we release these NFTs. Now, once the token is added to DEXs and launched on the open market, users who own these NFTs will be able to burn them and claim their MSCP tokens, which they're entitled to. Or as a collateral, we're offering our CWS token in case the project were to underperform, in case CWS maybe overperforms. Users could choose to get CWS instead, valued at the pre-sale price. So we've basically added CWS there. Honestly, I don't think it's going to really be needed for MSCP. I don't think anyone's going to claim that, but it's there, for future project, and to show that any project on the Lighthouse is actually fully guaranteed and covered by us, and we'll make sure that our Lighthouse public investors are protected.
Oh, that's good to know. Pulling away a little bit on Lighthouse, I was really interested in this particularly. So we understand that being the first is like super freaking important, especially in the crypto space. But I'm curious on why you chose to build Moonbeam Space on top of Moonbeam blockchain, which, by the way, for me personally, I wasn't too familiar with it, but there was a lot of different things with this blockchain that I was really impressed. So yeah, maybe you can kind of jump into that a little bit further on why Moonbeam blockchain for Moonscape.
Sure. So when we started developing Seascape, it actually started off as a multi-blockchain ecosystem. We ended up turning our attention more towards EVMs, Ethereum Virtual Machine compatible blockchains, because as a developer, it's much, much easier to work with. And it's basically the difference between inventing the wheel or buying a wheel at a tire store. So we decided to shift our focus towards EVMs because it just saved us a lot of time, and it allowed us to actually work on the things that we could offer to game developers now instead of 3 years from now. So Polkadot was always in our eyes. We always wanted to be on Polkadot. We always wanted to be part of the ecosystem. We believe in the parachain vision. I think Gavin Wood is brilliant. So we just wanted to be involved with Polkadot. But again, we had time constraints. We focused on EVM. Binance came in as investors, so we launched on Binance Smart Chain. But that said, I still had the Polkadot dream. And that's why when I got introduced to Moonbeam by one of our advisors, I was extremely interested because their whole concept is an EVM compatible parachain, right? So we could take all the work we've been doing on BSC, all the work we've been doing in Ethereum, and we could actually put it on Polkadot without having to, recode or hire new developers or spend 3 years doing QA. So it was a match made in heaven, and the fact that they wanted to work together and that they offered us a grant and that they were just really genuinely interested in what we were doing. We've partnered with all of the top projects in the space, basically, and I'm the happiest with our Moonbeam partnership because I believe in what they're doing. They've been supporting us, and it's really been a win-win relationship.
And that really helps kind of not guarantee, but makes me happy to hear, to say the least, to know that you're really impressed, happy, thankful that you have all these partnerships and grants. Us, for the investors, or let's say people who want to support in the community, we're also happy as well. So it's a really nice balance of everything has been going pretty great on your end with the partnerships, with the investors, with the support. And then I feel like it's a really nice balance. So I'm actually very excited to see in the next 6 to 8 months. We don't know, market's crazy, but I have very, very high hopes for what you guys are trying to accomplish. However, we are getting close with time. And I wanted to squeeze in the most important one: roadmaps, updates, things that you want to share for anyone that is watching. I know you shared a few things, but any like wink wink, like hidden things? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I'll give you a little wink wink, and that is we are going back to our roots, which is medieval strategy games. And as soon as Moonscape is completed and launched, and actually we have already set up a new studio, a partner studio for this, but Block Lords is coming back, and it's going to be the medieval metaverse everyone is waiting for. So if you're a fan of Game of Thrones, if you're a fan of huge historical strategy game, I believe Block Lords is going to be the game of the next 10 years. So I think we are set up to really take away the industry, both the play to earn industry and the gaming industry in general. So I can tell your fans to follow Block Lords and to read up on that.
Awesome. Thank you, David. And Kerel, anything that you can share on the marketing side or anything that you have up your sleeves or short sleeves?
First thing for Block Lords also, guys, is going to be not only very good gameplay wise, but it's going to look really good. I saw some of the things behind it. It's like, wow, I want to play that even outside of the entire DeFi thing. Just play it. Just play it as a game. Yeah. It's already really, really good looking. And these things are just taking the gaming industry. Obviously, now that the Lighthouse is up, we are going to do more IDOs. So Moonscape was the first one we're very confident about, and all the other projects I said before are going to be very good. But just JoJo, I remember you said before you missed out. You can still get in. You can miss out. You don't miss out for the next ones. We're going to have a lot, many more to come. We're already in talk with a lot of other studios. Marketing wise, we are going to rework on everything. Marketing has been going on. It was very interesting, very busy first few months, but as David said, things are getting better and better, and we are going to rework on everything. You're going to be getting a lot better information, more straightforward. Rebranding, everything will be redone probably next year. This does take some time. You're going to have let's say we're going to integrate new systems that are going to allow you to interact with other people.
Oh yeah, that's a good teaser. The guild, something called guilds, which okay, I'll just say that. I'll just say guilds. Guilds is something we're looking at very closely, and that we think will drive forward play to earn gaming to the next level, and already has started.
Nice. Well, thank you guys for that, and I can guarantee you that I won't miss.
We lost.
How much they made, or how well the community is, or how awesome it is. I'm like, dude, it feels like I'm not getting invited to the best party of the century, the year. So I can definitely guarantee that. But to kind of wrap things up, everyone that is watching, everything is in the links in the description below. So if you want to be a part of their community, I definitely suggest doing so, because they have a lot of things coming in the works. You guys are working day in and day out. And I know that because I talk to a lot of your team members and they don't sleep. Neither do I. But that's how you can tell. It's a very good sign that your team is always moving and you guys are consistently branching out into new specters of, this space. So guys, thank you so much, David Kerel. It's been a pleasure, and I will talk to everyone and you guys very soon.